Hello everybody and welcome to Star Life Ministries, episode 3. My name is Richard Blankenship. I am chaplain of Star Life Ministries. I'd like to start us off today with a bit of an update, which I know our last video being a bit late and this one being early is going to cover a lot of the same stuff, but right now we are at 318 likes and we appreciate each and every one of you for helping us to get this far. And I look forward to all of us growing together and continuing on this great mission which we have embarked upon. I also would like to point out that we are now officially, now that we've received our articles of incorporation back, we are now officially Star Life Ministries Incorporated, and we are currently still going through the long process of getting our tax exempt filled out and then back from the IRS, which will enable us to start sending and receiving funds. We've also had one or two more prayer requests since our last video, and I've also been posting those whenever I get them onto Facebook, and I hope that you all keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. This week we are hitting on the topic by request of how to diffuse and kind of deal with negative situations and conflict that can happen in a workplace. If your odds and ends over one thing and another, or having disagreement over how something's done or how whatever is going on. First thing I would like to point out, I made kind of a little list here. First thing I'd like to point out is kind of an obvious point of it doesn't all have to be resolved at once. I mean, yes, sometimes you have to kind of leave your baggage at the door, put your differences aside, and just get the job done and worry about all this later. But as far as resolving the conflict, getting to the heart of the conflict, it's not all going to be done at once. You're going to have to, of course, be honest, as always, both with yourself and with whomever you are having this conflict or disagreement. And never, while you're doing this, whenever you're at odds with this person or people, always try to refrain from speaking out of anger or frustration. If you feel yourself, whenever you're discussing whatever that is making you upset, however big or small, if you feel yourself getting angry or frustrated, which I'm not saying don't get angry or frustrated, because you're not really going to be able to help it, I'm sure. It's, as I said in a previous video, not the emotion, but how we react to it that can be right or wrong. So if you feel yourself getting heated, just try to take a couple quick breaths, good and deep, and just kind of take in the good and out with the bad, to reinforce that old cliche. If that doesn't work, you can always combine that with simply just saying, I got to take a break, and being the bigger person by not shouting, yelling, saying something you will later regret, but taking a step back and maybe going for a walk, go outside for some fresh air and cool down. However, this all, of course, both what I've already said and some of the other points I'm going to make, they seem quite obvious now, but whenever you're in that heated situation, we tend to kind of act quickly and let our mouth overload us. Even though they seem simple now, they'll probably be some of the first things you forget later. And more than likely, it's just not going to help anything, but it's going to hurt a great deal more. Whenever you're discussing something, one of my points here was consider the other person's view and think especially if they seem upset with you, think, well, have I said something? And if you know you were joking around with them or something, and so you know you've said something, think, well, maybe what I said, even though I meant it as a joke, or I meant something just as constructive criticism, maybe that's not how they heard it, that's not how they interpreted it. So you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes, and that might help you assess what's wrong and how to correct it. And sometimes you'll say something that seems completely innocent, but somebody else might take offense to it, might get kind of heated over it, because we interpret things not just because, well, we are who we are, but we are who we are because we interpret those things through our experiences. What makes me is a whole line of experiences and causes and effects that led up to this point. Same with you, same with your coworkers, and so on. We are all kind of the events that led us here. It's a culmination of things. So their experiences might lead them to interpret something that might seem innocent to you to be a bit harsher or more offensive. And then if I haven't already hit on this, consider that your opinion might be, I won't say wrong, but less than correct. We're all entitled to be wrong once in a while. So never rule out that possibility whenever you're trying so hard to make your point. Under where I put, on my notes here, wherever I put, never speak out of anger or frustration, one of the other things, whenever you're taking a step back, allowing yourself to cool down, you might want to try, as I said in the previous video, writing it out. That way it's kind of a self-revision technique. It's something you can read later before you go to that person and say, that sounds a bit harsh, that's not what I really meant. Because whenever we're cooled down, we're in a little bit, of course, clearer state of mind, a little bit more free of emotion, and we're able to remember another point of what all will I be giving up by, and what all will I be destroying that me and that person's built together, especially if this coworker is somebody who's a friend, or if you're at home in your home life, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you're at odds with one another. What all would you be giving up by saying something harsh, hurtful, that may or may not necessarily be true? It's always advisable to think before you speak, but sometimes our emotions can override that better judgment. So keep in mind what you'd be giving up if you decide to, well, to be blunt, shoot off of the mouth, which we are all, once again, we're all human, we all err. As it says in the Bible, to err is human. But still, we can always try to better ourselves. In discussing what we're going to use as our quote for this topic of the week, we had several quotes that fit, but the one that we chose, at least I settled on, was Genesis 4:7. And to set the kind of scene for this quote, God is talking to Cain just shortly before he decides to kill his brother Abel. And God asks him in so many words, why are you so angry? Why are you so wrathful, as he put it? And by and by he tells Cain that sin is knocking at your door, wanting to take you. But if you do good works and you keep your head, so to speak, you shall rule over him, being rule over sin. And here, by doing these things which I've listed out, I believe we all can take into our hands the opportunity to rule over this vice, if you will, the sin of being wrathful towards ourselves, our coworker, our family member, whoever we're wrathful towards. So I hope these few small steps will help to make a difference both in your workplace, your home place, and wherever else you may go. These little things really do add up. They are the little things that we can do that'll add up in big ways and will help things, especially around the workplace, give them the opportunity to go smoother and to help you to keep the cohesive unit that you need and that your patients or the general public, whomever it is you serve, needs. I hope that I thank you all for joining us this week, and I hope that you will join us again next week for yet another episode. I hope, if you would please like and subscribe to the video, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and share the page, and feel free to get in contact. And if I haven't mentioned it before, at the beginning of the video, if you feel that you don't need our services, need to reach out to us for any reason, have somebody to talk to, etc., but you do know somebody who does, whether it's a loved one, co-worker, whoever, please let us know and give us their contact information, and we'll send them a message, write them a letter, something to kind of give them motivation and courage as best we can in whatever situation they might find themselves in. But once again, I thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe, and it'll help us out greatly. And I hope that you all will be able to use this information, as I said, to kind of help better yourselves and the ones who are around you. So thank you for joining us. God bless, and I hope to see you next time on the next episode from Star of Life Ministries.